Salt Lake City police say they're making big strides in the fight against crime. This after implementing a new program to combat a surge in offenses 2 years ago. But as news specialist Jed Bull shows us, staffing and handling a rise in calls continues to be a big challenge. Jed.
Yeah, exactly. This is the of the Salt Lake City Crime Control Plan. The first version was issued in January 2021 after a surge in crime here in Salt Lake City that in some ways mirrored what we were seeing going on across the country. The latest data shows a decline in overall crime, while the volume of calls for service keeps growing.
The goals here are still focused on reducing violent crime and overall crime in the city.
The data shows the plan is working, but Mayor Mendenhall and Chief Mike Brown say there's more work to be done.
We will never be done working on new strategies to improve lives and stop and prevent crime in the city, and that's what this crime control plan is all about.
Key goals include lowering overall crime, improving response times, getting more officers, and building community relationships. Since January, violent crime down 4.5%, property crime down 10%, and total crime down 9%.
That's fantastic, but there is more work to be done.
Especially for those who've been victims.
If you put a face to that, that's somebody's mother, somebody's father, their brother, their sister. Those are victims, and so we can never lose sight of that. If crime happens to you, your crime is up 100%.
Response times are improving, but calls to 911 are up 8.5%. In the last week of September, a 100% jump in calls for service over last year.
We are going on twice as many calls this year.
The officer shortage peaked at 92. They are now short 41 officers. The department has instituted mandatory overtime that includes 18 10-hour shifts each day.
That's a lot of overtime. That's a lot of officers on the street answering those calls for service.
But that is not a long-term strategy. They need recruits to fill those shifts and are optimistic about recruiting efforts. The mayor and police chief say the officers on the streets are making the difference.
They want our neighborhoods to be safe. I mean, that's why you see crime numbers going down. There's strategies at place, but most of all, there's great officers in this department who want to do the work.
The crime plan continues to focus on hot spots, which are areas in the community where there's a disproportionate amount of crime, and that strategy seems to be working well. Guys?